A very good evening, everybody. This is Gulf Harbour Radio, ZMH286, Patricia and David. And it has been a dry day here. I hope it's been good for the folk at Minerva. Just got that report in from Pogean. It has been quite good in Minerva. I'll tell you what ours is first, however. It's chilly, 18 degrees here because we've got 10 knots of southerly. That is why we had hoped that all the boats that we were following got in yesterday, which they did, because it's now on the nose to get to New Zealand. Now the bar is steady, 1018.1, and that is just up a little bit from this morning actually. It's got some blue sky too, it's about 65 to 70%. So all is good there. And now let's go to Minerva from Pogean. 15 knots from the east, 1.5 metre easterly swell, 15% cloud cover and 1015. They've got a bit of low cumulus and high cirrus, and I bet seeing as it's low tide at 1 o'clock, they've probably been out on the reef. There are 11 boats in Minerva now, and there will be 2 more arrive tomorrow. Tango US boat from Tonga, and Mare, a German boat, also from Tonga. So get the red carpet out for them. And while I'm talking about Pogean's report, I can let you all know, especially for the boats at Minerva, who may or may not have internet coverage, but Pogean have probably spent more time at Minerva, both north and south, than anybody else in the cruising world. They have been, I don't know how many visits they've made there, but they stay quite a long time. And Rich has just put together a really good coverage of the Minerva reefs for those that are planning to stay there. I mean, a lot of people think Minerva is just a spot to have a rest on your way to New Zealand, but boy, when you have a look at what Rich and Michelle have put together, photos and text and description, you'll really see that it is a destination in itself, and a place worthwhile spending quite a lot of time in. And I've now put this on, thanks to Rich, on our Gulf Harbour Radio website, so it's available to all to read up and plan your next visit. It's fantastic coverage. Thank you very much, Rich. And it's in the flotsam part of the Gulf Harbour Radio website, which is ghradio.co.nz. Okay, now before I forget, we are going to be giving weather tonight for both Whitehawk going to the Marshalls, and we've just got your email in, thank you, to read up about the weather to the last 24 hours, and also Kawaka, who are heading with Picasa sort of in a west-northwest direction to finally go to Indonesia, but up on the inside of the barrier reef. So David is going to give weather for both those boats tonight, because we've decided to take tomorrow off. But before I pass the microphone, I would like to go to Kawaka, Gulf Harbour. Oh dear, it's getting a little bit weak, but do what you did last night and I will try and copy Don. Go ahead. Roger, Roger. Please repeat latitude. Latitude. Over. Roger, Roger. I have Kawaka 04 degrees 30 south, 178 degrees. Not sure of the minutes, I think it's 28, but you can correct me if I'm wrong. Not too sure of the minutes. So 322 course at 5 knots, 5 knots of northerly, 5 knots north wind, 90% cloud cover, 2 meter seas I think, and 1022. I think I will have corrections. Go ahead. No, I'm not hearing anything. It's very, very light copy tonight from Kuaka, but that's making sense based on yesterday's report. So is anybody copying him better than me? Please call now. No, nothing heard. All right, I think I've got it pretty well tonight, but if it gets better later, I will get back to you. So I will clear with Kuaka. The good news is that all is well on board. And before I pass the microphone for David with Whitehawk and Kuaka, Whitehawk and Kotanui, I'll give him the Whitehawk position at 5 o'clock, which is 5 degrees 18 north, 17137 east. Course over ground is 355 true, and the speed is 3 to 4 knots. The wind is 5 to 7 knots, variable, but north-northwest to north-northeast at the moment. So the seas are 1 metre plus, short interval, 70% cloud cover, and 1009. They've been motoring on and off. And for Kotanui, who are getting AIS really frequently and promptly from them, but at this afternoon they were at 1817 south, 15948 east, on a course of 284 true at 7 knots, and the wind is 15 at 135, so we'll call it southeast, and the swell is 1 to 1.5, and pretty much 90% overcast, all going well. So that's the course. Their current course is past Mellish Reef, which is 231 miles in front. Then the next waypoint is Cook's Passage off Lizard Island, and when I have been looking, they have got Picasa southeast of them, about 60 miles at the last count. So could you let me know, Mike, can you hear us on the radio, or do I need to put what David is talking about weather-wise onto streaming? So here he is.
Who are we talking?
Let's go ahead.
All right, well, here we go. This is to Whitehawk now, John and Lynette on their way to Majuro. And tonight, John and Lynette, from what I could see, northeast about 5 to 10, seas about a meter, maybe a meter and a half from the east, and scattered showers, and there'll be some isolated thunderstorms as well. Keep an eye open for that. And on Sunday, tomorrow, east, it looks like 10 to 15, and the seas about 1.5 meters out of the east, and again, scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms. And we just got your email. That was great, and I'm glad to see that you're getting the National Weather Service charts and whatnot. I spent a lot of time at the Met Service in Majuro, mostly helping them launch weather balloons. It was quite interesting. We had some very good chats about the weather up there. And also when we were in Guam, we visited the major weather office, where all of these various islands, Ponape, Majuro, all of that are all formulated and sent out of the Guam office. So that's the story for Whitehawk. And then Kotanui at 18 and 159, almost 160. I see east to southeast about 10 to 15, 16 knots roughly, and appears to be scattered showers. The New Zealand high, I'm going to talk about that shortly, so if you can hear us, stay tuned with that. But anyway, suffice it to say that there's a very strong high that's over New Zealand, will be over New Zealand, and that is going to be sending you much stronger air than what you've got now. The central pressure of the high is up there, and so you could expect east-southeast winds 20 knots or so, and maybe higher in the gusts. And that will go on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, etc. Just a band of fairly strong air heading your way. So that will certainly get you going in the direction that you want to go. So that's it for that part of it. And for the rest of it, just hello out there to the rest of you. Mostly in Minerva, I guess. And I just have a few bits of weather information for you tonight. Maybe of some interest, the MJO, Madden-Julian Oscillation, it's in the mellow phase at the moment, and that should continue for probably a good 10 days or so from now, and then we could expect an active phase to start to roll in. Now I can see it actually in the Indian Ocean heading east as we speak, so it's coming, but not for a while. Now the synoptic picture for, I would say, around lunchtime on Sunday, that shows our past high at about 40 south and 150 west, 40 south, 150 west. It's quite strong, 1033, 1033 millibar. Now the new high will be over New Zealand tomorrow, also strong at 1032 millibar. Now between these two highs, we will have an occluded front that runs to the northwest. And what I'll do is I will give you 2 points where you can connect the dots. So the first one is 33 south and 175 east. Second one is 45 south and 168 west. So connect those 2 dots, and that's the axis of the occluded front. And for those of you who have interest in the eastern highs winds and what happens, they are basically north-northwest, and they're warm and they're moist, while the western high, the one that is over New Zealand, that's going to be pushing very cold southerly air to the northeast. Now these two air masses, they collide. They don't mix, they collide. The cold rams into the warm, and that is lifted to create cloud, showers, and squalls. Now, as the warm sits on top of the cold, we call that occluded. And it is going to move in lockstep with the 2 highs. I think hopefully you could picture that, especially if you join the 2 dots. You could see where that occluded front is. And it could disappear in a day or so, just get absorbed. We don't know. Anyway, not much going on at Fiji. Expect easterlies 15 to 20 with moderate seas. That's about it. Tonga, Met service there, they have an extreme high tide warning for all waters and a very strong wind warning for Vavau, the Hapais, and Tongatapu. East to southeast 10 to 20, rising to 25 knots at times. And for the Minervas, where the bulk of you are, expect east to east to northeast about 10 to 20 with moderate seas to 2 meters. Let's see, I'm looking at satellite imagery at the moment, and that is mostly clear skies with patchy cloud. Uh, that patchy cloud is moving west to east, and they're low to mid level, and I can see Cirrus that's not moving hardly at all. And in addition to that, I see a fairly rigorous band of convective activity that runs west-east at about 26 south, so a little bit to the south of you folks at Minerva. Now, as I run the loop, I'm running a 6-hour loop on the imagery, and that band, well, that keeps on going, but behind it is more cloud and more convective activity. I wouldn't be surprised that it reaches the Minervas fairly soon, or by the time that it should get there, it just dissipates. We'll have to see what happens. So I appreciate your input. I actually really do, because then I can correlate that with what I see on the imagery, and also I look at the models to see if they know what they're talking about. And I almost forgot. Around the 24th and the 25th, which are the dates, around the dates I think that a lot of you are planning on going. What's popped up is I see a polar dip in the isobars just to the west of New Caledonia. What I mean by a polar dip is picture your thumb pushing down on flexible anticyclonic isobars. This can be a prelude to a depression, so we need to keep an eye on that, and if that interferes with that trip to New Zealand, that won't be much fun. So we'll certainly be looking at that very closely. So time will tell. It's a little too far out for the models to be accurate. So we'll see. And I think that's it. Other than thanks to Rich, boy, I just went through your write-up on Minerva, and it's great. You did a absolutely fantastic job on that write-up.
Makes us want to take off.
And yeah, it makes us want to go back. I mean, we've been to Minerva a few times ourselves, but never to the extent that you have. Anyway, congratulations on that. I hope people take advantage of looking at it. And the chief wants the microphone.
No, I don't. I just want you to raise your voice.
Raise my voice.
Oh.
Okay, I thought I was talking loud enough. Anyway, here's the chief.
All right, and I don't remember whether I did tell you where Tango was. That was one of the 2 boats that are heading to Minerva to arrive tomorrow. Mare from Germany and Tango. Tango at the moment are at 2143 and 17714 west, doing 7.5 knots on a course of 227 true, direct to Minerva. Both these boats are catamarans, but for some reason Mare is either much smaller because they're not going as fast. And Whitehawk have asked us when we were in the Marshalls, and we can't remember. We're going to have to look up the log books and slowly work it out. But interestingly enough, we did have the sort of weather that you're getting. We didn't go to Tarawa because we came across to Majuro we left from French Polynesia and stopped at Canton, just outside of Canton, which was a very interesting place to stop at because it was from World War II. It was a very important communications base
and airport.
And then we just came on from there to Majuro, and it was quite funny checking out of French Polynesia because we hadn't actually checked in, or what was the story there? David hadn't been asked for his money, the bond that you were meant to have. So when we tried to check out, we had to pay the bond and then get the bond back within the 5 minutes that we were doing the process.
Yeah, but see, there's more to that story because we've been to French Polynesia a few times. So this trip, we had left from New Zealand, and we arrived in Bora Bora, and they didn't know what to do with me because they say, "How did you get to Bora Bora and not go to Tahiti?" And we say, "Well, we come from other direction," and they say, "Okay," and that was it. I forgot about it.
Yeah, it was quite funny, but we had come direct from, well, we tried from Wellington, but it ended up leaving from Napier and just followed a lower cross. It was not exactly a pleasant trip, but it was a fast trip for our boat. We did it in 18 days. And Bora Bora was used to departing boats, but not to arriving boats. So that was quite funny. Anyway, not sure how we got onto that, but that's about it. I'm just going to see if Kawaka, sometimes you are better or clearer at the end of the program than at the beginning. Kawaka, are you still there? Nope, nothing heard. Is there anybody wanting to make contact with Gulf Harbour Radio? And remember, we are not on tomorrow night. No, nothing heard. So we will be back again on Monday. And hope you have a very good weekend. For us, it's rather nice not to have the rain pouring down, as it has been in the last few days. The country is drying up again. Cheers, everybody, and I'm just going to check the streaming, see if any questions have come through there. Okay, that's from I'll tell David shortly. Anyway, this is us clear. Have a very good evening, and if you're making landfall, then enjoy. Cheers all. Now let's see if the streaming